Give us any chance, we'll take it. Read us any rule, we'll break it. We're gonna make our dreams come true.
Welcome to After Night, a podcast about 8 seasons in a row. I'm Lisa Fernandez, and
I'm Chris Wardena. Hello.
and we are about to review The Diner, directed by Linda McMurray and written by Bob Perlow. Chris got some facts about them coming later in the episode.
Indeed.
Yes, indeed. And here's what this episode is about. Lenny inherits the diner from his late uncle Lazlo, and thanks to a deal he signed with Squiggy years ago, his best friend now owns half of it. The boys go about running the establishment into the ground, doing everything from holding dog races to demand their customers bring and cook their own food. They hemorrhage money, and the girls see a business opportunity worth jumping on. They agree to run the place and split the profits with the boys 50-50. While DeFazio and Feeney's dead Lazlo's place becomes a big hit, the girls are soon overwhelmed by the pressure of running the restaurant and the grossness of their clientele. Will they make it out with their dreams intact? What do you think of this one?
Well, I gotta say that, Dead Lazlo's place does seem like the hip happening joint, but it's, the service was a little too hovery, and I don't know. Yeah, it's a bummer. I actually had a joke for this part ready earlier today, and it's like completely gone from my mind.
Oh, dear.
I will say this was an episode, unfortunately, I was a tad overhyped on. And it wasn't just through you, it was like through tons of other people as well. Because I notice even people outside of our little circle, whenever Laverne Shirley gets brought up that by some fan that's not a Night After Night listener, even they will often speak very highly of this episode. It's really good. That's not to say it's bad. It just was I think it's just the idea is so refreshing and kind of like it just gets the creative juices going. There's a lot of stuff to be able to do, and it was just interesting that it almost feels like there's a missing sequence or some other detail.
Mm. Yeah. See, for me it flows better. For me, I really like this one. I don't think I'm influenced by the fact that this often gets named as one of the most important episodes of any sitcom, as a building block and one of the best known Laverne Shirley episodes. Because for me, it works and it feels kind of like it flows very well, and you get a lot of great slapstick, and you get a lot of great emotion under the surface because the girls think they can't do the thing, and Frank's like, well, it's okay you can't do the thing. In the end, Frank and Edna benefit the most out of everybody.
Oh, certainly.
In the entire situation.
Yeah.
In the end, they make it.
No, please go ahead. You have a point you're trying to make.
In the end, they make a whole heck of a lot of money. The boys make some money. At some point, the girls. I don't know what the girls probably must have made something off of this at some point.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's a line that Shirley says about getting tips, right? Yes.
What
was it?
It was like, $10 in tips? $14 in tips and the opportunity for the child of a man named Bruno.
That's it.
Shirley.
Yeah, there we go. I see it now. Yep. And stepped on some
Shirley.
poor guy's meatball, which... filthy.
Freudian.
But yes, I guess what I mean is that because the moral and those components work. I don't know what it is. I think of just about the diner sequences that I kind of wanted more of. The other thing also is the Carmine segment in the middle is not bad conceptually. I just think the joke goes on too long and it sort of fills in too much time for a joke that's pretty one note. And because it's like a 2-minute sequence for a joke that really it's over in 15 seconds. And I guess that's where I would have loved to have seen, I guess, a little more layering of jokes, other things to throw at the girls while they're trying to take care of the place, like the boys calling to check in on it. The different, things like trying to do takeout or I don't know to what extent takeout and delivery was common in the early 60s, but I know that the idea of
definitely had takeout.
See, the idea of the boys calling them and saying they want to come pick takeout up, that is, an interesting idea to throw that in the middle of that. Those sort of ideas come to mind when I think of where is it that I feel that there's parts that don't. It just and this isn't just where I am. Yeah, exactly. But I mean exactly. I guess what it is just as we're talking about the context of it in the realm of sitcoms itself is that This
Yeah.
aired in, I believe it was 1980, I think.
Yes.
Or
Yes,
late,
yes.
or sometime in 79.
Nope. It's 1980. We are in late spring 1980.
Okay, got it. And so as you're saying, like there is definitely this element of the world. Yeah, okay, I'm double checking it. Spring. Yeah, 6th of May, 1980. And
Yeah,
so
you should have trusted me because I know that because I was born.
well,
Right
when
in
you
the middle
mentioned, I was already in the
Moose Jaw.
process of looking it up and realized I should double check exactly, and also queue up the
Yep.
episode in case there's a detail I missed in my notes, because that has happened before recently, and I don't want that to happen again.
Oh, it's okay.
So yeah, but yeah, I mean, it's a lot of fun. I do love that the group comes together around a common goal. I like that the antagonist in this is more, it's the customers, which
Yeah.
especially like for us, and as being, because we've worked with customers, we've worked retail,
Yes.
we've done the grind.
Yes.
We're not gonna say the customer's always wrong, but we are definitely going to say that they can be total assholes from time to time.
Yeah. They're wrong enough.
Yeah, there you go. Wrong enough. Well said. And so, like, that's a really endearing element, I think, of the episode is that quality. But yeah, as a Laverne and Shirley episode, it has so many little details that are great within it. It has, like, I remember immediately you pointed out when we were watching it how when Lenny comes in, a total mess about his uncle Lazlo passing away, and Laverne immediately goes to his side. Yeah, what was it? My note here is, here comes Laverne to comfort him on her boob, drying his tears.
She automatically becomes this place where he can run to when he's upset. Mm-hmm. She actually says when they're fighting about the fact that he signed this promissory note to Squiggy, whenever somebody gives you something to sign, always show it to me first. That's their relationship taking a level in something. What? I don't know. But she actually does say that when they're arguing. Yeah, he apparently ruins her L even more, and she has to go Martinize it.
Mm-hmm.
There's another 750. But there's 75 cents for Martinizing. 75 cents for Martinizing. That's I love the way the girls are just done. They're done with the rat race at this point.
Totally. Rats on a treadmill.
Yeah. They're putting less Zabbas in the Abba-Zabbas. Laverne steals some candy.
Yeah, she accidentally pulls a Fonzie and gets the candy.
Yeah. She deserves it. She should take it. Anyway, everything about this opening sequence I really adore.
Mm-hmm.
I love Squiggy answering the question of what's wrong with Lenny with the words family problems. He grabs a thing of booze out of his locker and slugs it. It's the most random thing.
That's such a David. That's so David.
That's so David. It is. And then he just like cranks his neck, and it's like, that's the most Squiggy thing possible in the whole universe. And also, it is incredibly, incredibly funny.
Yes.
He just, goes through everything, and the way everybody handles this news is great. Poor Lenny is brokenhearted. Laverne automatically goes Wendy to his Peter Pan. Squiggy mocks the whole situation, and Shirley tries to be encouraging, and that's just very much every single character's general gestalt of the of reacting to each other.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a wonderful microcosm of how they interact.
Yeah, I love that, as you're saying, exactly. Like, all the characters feel very in tone with their archetypes and who they are, like the kind of the baseline, the log line of their characters. But it's done in a way that isn't like, It's not flanderizing. It's very, there's something very sincere and sweet about it. Even with like Frank and Carmine and Enda. Yeah, exactly. Everyone is very much themselves here, but it's not cartoony. It's all very well handled. I love where tears can flow, hope can grow. Or would you rather be a mule? Shirley just punches the heck out of Squiggy right in the shoulder. Wow, that was and poor Lenny. Now these among the croak, I just miss him so bad. He's like,
Yeah.
Among the crooked. Oh,
Among the
I
crooked.
want that to be part of my lexicon now.
Yeah, I know. Do that. Squiggy is just, as Shirley says, an incredibly evil little man in this particular episode, this particular part of the episode. But he doesn't care, because he's getting his cash no matter what.
As he says, maybe so, maybe so.
But this is like a microcosm of the boys' relationship in a way, because Squiggy will sometimes use Lenny as a patsy, but he'll also defend him to death.
Exactly.
And mother him, and Lenny mothers Squiggy, and it's interesting to see what happens when they go into patsy and happy giver mode, so to speak. And this is what happens in this episode. Because Lenny's happy to share the diner with him at this point, yeah. You killed Uncle Lazlo! Murderer!
Yeah, the back and forth, all the dialogue is really good and zingy here. And I love the postman always rings twice, but opportunity only knocks once. Wait a minute, policeman? Mailman.
Oh, gosh. You could buy yourselves 100 women, and Lenny's knees go inward. Just at the very idea of having 100 women as beck and call. I love that little detail. There
are definitely some people that harems just like are too overwhelming a concept.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I think Lenny is definitely one of them.
Yeah. If Lenny is anybody in an anime, he's some poor guy who dies of a nosebleed.
Yes, there you go. Yeah.
That's him.
I still say I want Laverne Shirley the anime, like as an early 90s style, like high school anime with that Sailor Moon Tenchi Muyo aesthetic.
Yes, I can really see that. I can actually picture that in my head now. I just literally just pictured that, and instead of biting his palm, he just nosebleeds everywhere, the poor guy.
Yep.
And that guy can really... I'm stuck picturing this in my head because I can actually envision it.
You're very welcome, by the way.
Yeah, forever. We transition to the diner here. The boys try to sneak a double makeout in.
Yes. Yeah, surprise smooches. Yeah, it's just, my note is guys, no, and then they get chucked.
Yeah. Notice Lenny cups the side of Laverne's head very tenderly here for some reason.
I did not notice that. I don't have the scene handy at this moment, but I did not notice. Well, okay, it's a detail that I probably would know. I will see it next time. Yeah.
Next time.
I do find it, unsurprising, especially after the tag scene in Duke of Squidman. That's just a sample of how we intend to greet all our female customers. Oi.
Yeah.
Did you see all the signs on the wall, by the way?
Yes, I have a note for this.
Okay,
I took
do you have
all the
Okay.
Took them all down.
I wrote them down too, just in case.
If you fall down, you buy it. Discounts for naked ladies. If your peas move, shoot them.
I also have all meat certified dead, and we love fat people.
Yeah, we love fat people. I can't believe it. That's so the boys. So
when the sign came up for Dead Lazlo's place and they were all excited about it, my mom suddenly blurted out, "Now today that would be popular."
Yeah, pretty much. They could have a high concept restaurants out of
totally.
A burger made out of 60% meat and 40% high adventure.
Oh yeah. Well, I know somebody who does burgers that probably would do that. Yeah. That they're a burger. What's be a term? Burger maniac? Connoisseur. Yeah, there you go. That's a more graceful way to put it. Hi, Eves.
Connoisseur. Fanatic.
I'm not gonna send him this episode. Why am I saying hi to him? Anyway. And then Shirley has her berserk button hit with the dog races.
Yes.
You plan to race Band's best friend for profit?
Maybe so. Okay. Notice that Lenny grabs Laverne's hand again, drags her outside while Shirley and Squiggy are going hammer and tongs. Once again, this is how their individual relationships work.
Mm-hmm.
He grabs her and pulls her outside. Laverne boosts Lenny up with one leg. How cute is that? She's holding him by one foot.
Mm-hmm.
It's so cute. And the hammer hard enough to knock the phone off the wall.
It is too cute. I think the Peter and Wendy aspect you were mentioning earlier, I think that definitely counts in all the little beats in this episode.
Yeah, it's adorable. It's unexpectedly adorable. It's a little tiny treat. A little tiny enjoyable treat. Then we bring in Edna. The boys are broken dying. And they we find out how far the diner has fallen. The Greyhound racing is really happening.
Mm-hmm.
They let their clientele come in and cook their own food, as long as it's on the menu.
New gimmick. Why don't you have your maid at home and send you the money? Now that's the voice of experience.
I love your Squiggy voice. And they need something for the dogs to chase around the track for Edna.
The look of hatred on her face as she holds up the needle and threatening murder when they say that as they walk away. That is an amazing detail. Amazing detail. Betty did not get enough use at it, despite having the wonderful wedding episode this year. This season, you can start to see they're giving her less to do, and God, it's a travesty.
Yes. They really should have used her more, period, during her time on the show.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
We really could have done with more Edna-centric episodes. Because we all know Betty had the chops. We all know she had the talent. And we all know she could pull off both pathos and comedy. And she could sing. And she could play the ukulele. And she could tap dance. It's a quadruple threat there is a lot. She could do so many things.
And for a woman her age, she's certainly, she's got it going on, as the cool kids say.
Yeah. As she tells the boys in season 4, I ain't dead yet.
Yeah, there you go.
She does have it going on. We all would with like 50-ish Betty here. Let's be real.
Let's be real here. Yeah. Totally.
I mean, come on.
Get mad. Anyway, but yeah, so the girls plotting their own scheme, and that gets them into, I love how they make them turn that way, and just they're focused on something else.
Yeah. I love the boys' idea of shaking on it. They shake their whole bodies.
That's amazing. Yeah, do it their way. Do it their way.
Do it their way. And the girls when Laverne offers to take it out and trade, and Lenny immediately Ronnie's, imagining what that's going to entail.
Oh yeah. Yeah, a lot of Ronnies this season, and especially with the Antonio the Amazing, actually training how to do it. It's been very much a thing. And I also especially love the either we get half or no deal, and you guys really drive a hard bargain. Well, with Teamsters.
Which,
as of this recording, this is going to go up. Hopefully, by the time this episode goes up, the strike will have been dealt with. But yeah, pretty much the votes going in this week for the IATSE union strike in Hollywood.
Yeah. We holler back on topic. The girls gussy up the diner. It looks prettier. Did you see some of the adorable signs that they have on that wall?
Yes.
Now.
Yes, I saw all those. I have all 4 of those marked down as well.
Boo Boo Kitty says, "Clean your paw and your plate." That's adorable. I love that so much. That's so cute.
You chew it, it's yours. The bank doesn't give pancakes. We don't give credit.
Yeah. And please don't fall down and hurt yourself.
Which I totally assume that's Shirley. I think most of them are Shirley, but I figured that one especially is Shirley.
Yeah. I think if you chew it, it's yours is Laverne, and the bank doesn't give pancakes is also Laverne. And please don't fall down and hurt yourself, and Boo Boo Kitty are obviously Shirley. That's my thought process.
Yeah, that's great. And I love also now we get an actual exposition shot on some backlot where they took some exterior. It's super cute, the exterior, and they even have the sign. They have the Dead Lazlo's Place sign in front of the on some cafe facade. It's so cute.
Yeah.
And they open the door, and there comes the dog. Oh, poor baby.
I know. But at least, hopefully, it goes back to its owner and gets to live a life of peace.
Exactly.
Somewhere. Cutie.
He was sweet, but that was depressing.
It was. The boys really were running a dog race to the stupid diner. And this is considering how they treated Buttercup. You think they would know better. And
totally.
That's one of the things they do. That's
Yeah.
You're like, they can do better. Okay, yeah.
So I also, one of the things I do really like about this episode is also that when they get their first customer comes in right away as this pretty much after the dog leaves and the scene begins. And I love how it captures the truth of it and how they react to it. They are trying way too hard when there's only one customer in the store in the shop, and then they are completely overwhelmed because because I mean all of us out there who've done it know that first right at the beginning of the day, super quiet, you just sort of get yourself warmed up for the day. You're not psyching up, you're just okay, everything's kind of chill. because give it a couple of hours and it's going to be completely nuts.
Yeah. Tragically true. I know how that goes, and I know what that feels like. It's kind of the sliding scale where you think you get it all in hand, and this is how you're going to treat every single customer. You can't treat every single customer that way. They haven't hired any help. That was a mistake they made. They didn't hire an extra waitress or two.
Right.
Or an extra cook or two. If they had done that, everything would have been worked out okay for them. But, you also can't afford that kind of measure either. So you feel bad for them. You just feel awful.
Exactly. But but yeah, there's so many good little beats in the physical comedy, the serving the coffee, the gals, improving their whole, you're hovering, get away from him, and Shirley's perfectionism and Laverne's sloppiness and Shirley perfectionist.
Yeah.
So good.
Laverne, as I said on Twitter, Laverne flipping pancakes with a dustpan is the most relatable thing. While crying is the most relatable thing I've ever seen in my life.
Oh,
that's just me at the end of the day.
Oh, honey.
This is me at the end of the day, sobbing as I cook linguiça in the frying pan at work.
Oh. Anyway. God. Okay. Yeah. All right. So the next Patreon goal is to try to get me out there so that I can cook dinner for you on rough days.
Oh, it's sweet.
Yeah. Well, I freaking love you, and I would totally.
I love you too.
Anyway, so yeah, okay. Future me might cut this. Yeah. Anyway, back on track. Sorry, everybody.
Yeah,
sorry.
I was gonna mention. Did you notice something? All the Kellogg's boxes were actually turned toward the camera. They had product placement going on.
I did notice that they were turned towards, and that's a very good point. Yeah. In film, that was kind of different. Like a lot of grindhouse movies had McDonald's and KFC and stuff and just didn't care. You'd get away with it. But TV was a different story.
Yeah. I was gonna say, before you could notice that sometimes they would turn labels away from the camera and all that kind of stuff. The Kellogg's is right there, so they must have gotten some kind of product placement going on with the Kellogg's.
Right.
In that particular season.
Interesting.
Amazingly, I don't think they ever got a Pepsi sponsorship, which shocks me.
Maybe they didn't want to maybe they and the milk company, the milk industry was in a heated legal battle or something, or they parted on bad terms, and it was like a Calypso Davy Jones situation.
There you go. According to Cindy Beagle, who follows us on Twitter.
Hi, Cindy.
We follow her on Twitter. Writer, she appears in this episode. She's one of the bikers. Mm-hmm. According to her, which is really cool.
Yes. And as I believe she mentioned, most of the writing staff, actually, or a lot of the writing staff. Yep. And, okay, I'm glad you bring this up because, so Jack Lukes, who's among the writing staff, it turns out, and he's mentioned in the IMDb, so this got me to look up his stats again to just figure out, because I'd forgotten about him. It turns out I missed something the last time I talked about him. Not only was he an actor in other episodes of Laverne and Shirley and a writer on multiple episodes, he was in Switchblade Sisters. Okay, who was he in Switchblade Sisters? You have to tell me. Let me actually double check because I did not write that information down. But thank you for that question. Fred. I'm curious. Oh, Fred! Oh man. Oh, that's funny. Yeah. I need to watch that movie again. It's been a long time since I watched that movie. I love that terrible movie. It's great. It's I think that might be my favorite exploitation movie, at least for white folks doing stupid things. Exploitation movie, as I say. Yeah, there's many of them, but it's Jack. It's Jack Hill. It's Jack freaking Hill, man. It's so good. Yeah. It's not the Warriors, but it's great. I do love that one. Very good point. Yes. Yeah. We will have another Grindhouse film reference coming up when we get to the actual writing director notes. But before I forget though, Jack Lukes, he will be back as a writer, so we'll probably repeat this information. He also co-wrote the episode My Brilliant Career for the show Getting By, which of course was starring Cindy Williams and directed by Joel Zwick, which I thought was really cute. That is neat. That really is. But there's a ton of folks that the amount of extras in the scene when everything goes completely bananas is fantastic. I love the scope of that sequence. Yes. This was a show that didn't do crowd scenes very often, and for understandable reasons. They had so little time that's hard to direct, it's hard to manage, hard to cast really quickly, wardrobe, etc. But this was great. This was really good, and the the energy is definitely there. You can see Cindy and Laverne, and Cindy and Penny just feeding off of it.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
Yeah, the way they build the chaos is what's so incredibly notable about this.
Mhm.
We start out with like small things get worse and worse. Laverne being unable to keep up with the orders, and the way the comedy builds from her just burning things to slopping a huge amount of pancakes on the grill and going, lucky, lucky, everything comes with pancakes. Her basically getting revenge on Shirley by calling her Betty.
Betty, please.
Betty, please. Betty, pick up your hash blacks.
Yeah.
And,
which for context, because that did take me by surprise when you said that, like almost a year ago now.
Yeah.
They were hash browns, but you leave them on the fryer too long, they're not brown no more.
Yeah, they are hash blacks. They are hash charcoal.
Mm-hmm.
Is what they are.
It's the way my dad likes them cooked. So yeah.
That's my father with hot dogs.
Oh god.
So, yeah, he just chars them in the frying pan. They are just logs of pure charcoal with maybe a little dog in there somewhere.
Oh goodness.
That's them.
But I absolutely love the dichotomy, and I love how they cut. They don't show it getting like the people coming in. It's like you turn around and it's like, oh god, you're suddenly slammed, and total anarchy has befallen the space.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
My mom worked. She was a waitress for a while, and she claims that she wasn't very good at it. She laughed through this entire. She did not stop laughing from the start. Like. Yeah, from the start to the finish, she laughed her ass off. It was great.
My mom waited tables too, and she related to this one.
Oh man.
Yeah. She was like, yeah, that's what it was like. She worked at a diner in a motel.
Oh.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Howard Johnson kind of thing. Yeah.
Right.
She used to serve roller derby people all the time. So.
Oh, I wish you could see the look on my face right now. Oh, whoa.
Yeah, that's what she used to do. That's what she did before she married my father.
Wow.
She waited tables in a diner, in a motor lodge, and she used to constantly serve roller derby folks, and they went down. Yeah.
Dang.
All during the 70s and 60s. Yeah.
But okay. I do have to have a note here. Like I as much as we have our laughs, I have a very serious thing to discuss here.
Yes.
How dare you, Laverne? You are ashamed to your Italian heritage. Ketchup on noodles in a basket.
So gross. So gross.
How dare you? I'm not even Italian. I am offended for her father. Her father taught her better than this.
Yeah, her father must be somewhere weeping as she does this. But on the other hand,
he just starts sobbing over a roll as he's rolling pizza dough, and then it's like, Frank, what's wrong? And he's like, I don't know, but something's wrong with my muffin.
Yeah.
But Frank, you're rolling pizza dough.
I'll be salted with my tears. Anyway, I was gonna say that we know beforehand that Laverne can't cook.
Yeah.
So the fact that they didn't reverse positions here is interesting to me. We know the girls both have waitressing experience, so the waitressing wouldn't be as big of a deal to either of them. But I'm surprised. Shirley is a slightly better cook than her, as has been established by canon. Slightly. Very slightly.
I wonder if it's just I do know part of this for both of them is they want to prove themselves to the people they know and to themselves. And I wonder if that's part of the logic in that, because it does make a certain kind of sense that Laverne would be insistent on wanting to cook, even though she's not, because she's like, this is my shot to actually get good at it, that I don't cook very often, but this is going to force me to.
Yeah. Possibly. And she's then, as everybody around her sees cooking as an avenue for her to get a guy, she's like, I can get a guy other ways. And but we know for a fact that she can't. At one point in the future, this really doesn't spoil the plot of this, so I'll say this. At one point, she buys a bucket of KFC and tries to pass it off as her own cooking.
So she does the steamed hams thing. Okay.
Yep. Early steamed hams, pre-steamed hams, steamed hams. The episode aired in 1983, so they beat The Simpsons in that punch.
Wow, The Simpsons didn't do it first.
Yeah, they originated something. Bite us.
All right. Very nice.
Us.
Good. It's about time we finally discovered one of those. But But yeah, and then in the case of Shirley, oh, poor Shirley, just not prepared
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
groping, the name calling.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yikes. And I do
Carrying
love
plates in her mouth.
I love that she starts like going like, come on, like she's gonna fight him. It's like
Yeah.
I want her to rumble.
Yeah.
I want this to
Yeah.
turn into like a Stephen
Yeah.
Chow fight scene
Yeah.
where
Yeah,
she
yeah.
just like uses all this cutlery and plates
Yeah.
and like a
Yeah.
God of Cookery fight scene.
She pulls out a switchblade from her hair. It looks like a comb, but no, it's a switchblade.
Oh God. Oh man. Yeah, that's
Another
very
invisible picture.
that's very Jack Hill. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I was actually thinking. I was just thinking about how she would just do that. Just you got blood on my shoes.
Yeah, you can.
I paid 20 cents for these shoes. Die. Anyway.
Well, somebody's ready for TCM Underground playing later
There
tonight.
you go. Yeah. Truck Turner, baby. Truck Turner's on tonight.
Hell yeah. I have seen that movie twice in the theater and it gets better every time.
Yes, it does. It's Truck Turner and what else? I can't remember. Truck Turner and something else. We're going to edit all this
Dolomite.
out.
It's Dolomite.
Dolomite. Yes, Dolomite. Truck
You got to put your ass in traction. Anyway, I'm sorry we're so distracted, folks. It's just, part of it is that this is a really energetic episode. Like as much as I wish there was just certain refinements here and there. I mean, I still think that what's there is fantastically executed. This is really a fantastic combination of like strong writing, good concept, good living up to the concept with those characters, and then just the very energetic execution. This is really cool, which is interesting as well because this was a new director. This is not a Joel Zwick, and it was the first of two that Linda McMurray will do for the series.
Yes.
But this is the interesting thing. These were this and the other episodes she did were the only work as a director, but she was the AD on Laverne Shirley for 93 episodes.
Yes, that's cool. It's incredibly cool.
And she was even a second AD on The Last Waltz and UPM on pretty much the entire run of Cheers.
Oh, that's really cool. That's really cool.
But yeah, so we'll have notes about our next time out. But yeah, it's that's I think why I'm so impressed by that. Like, and even as well, Bob Perlow, who's credited as the writer here, this is his first episode. He has 2 more to go, including a rather infamous one. But and he did some good stuff. He worked on Mork and Mindy, Night Court, spate of other gigs in the 80s and 90s. Story editor on She's the Sheriff and Who's the Boss, etc. And even is still working today. He recently did warm up for Wonderama in the late 2010s.
Oh,
but
that's really cool.
But this is I have some nerd squee stuff to come back to in a second. But again, though, just speaking about his work in this episode is like, I mean, as you said, it nails these characters so well. So either he was able to get taught very well by the other writers on the staff, or he just he was familiar with the material and he, got his first day at work and was like, I know what to do. And he just kind of figured it out really quickly. Like it feels good. When you break
super impressive.
It is.
I mean, he created a classic comedy his first time at bat, which is pretty impressive. No matter how we slice this.
Yeah. Okay, I have to mention the fun part. He ended up in 2 fantastic B movies. The first, he's in Stunt Rock, which, if you have not seen it, you need to at least see the trailer. The second, he was one of the TV reporters in Night of the Comet. And now we may commence Nerd Squeeze.
Yay! I love Night of the Comet.
Night of the Comet.
Love Night of the Comet. Yay! Love it.
As of this point, my best bro has actually named his car after Catherine Mary Stewart's character in that movie. So that is a film.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. He named Regina after her.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Amazing. But
yeah. So anyway, but yeah, I mean, there's so much energy going on in this episode. The physical comedy is just, explosive and, and as you're saying, like that build up to like the sneeze, breaking all the plates, Betty, please pick up. And, and Cheryl doing like the kid waddle away into the back and just,
yeah. You just kind of want to protect her. Poor Shirley. Protect poor Shirley. She's awkward. It's
exactly.
Just like, poor girl. She works so hard to try to carry everything off, and nope. Don't harass Betty, please.
Yeah. And so then we get into kind of our capper to the main part of the episode with Frank giving, as you said, Pop saving the day moment, the inspirational speech. And I've been really impressed with what they've done with Frank this season, between like this and Why Did the Fireman. There's other stuff too. I mean, I can't remember it necessarily off the top of my head, but there are many good episodes this year that have had the Frank as the basically being a good dad, and there's something about that really means something to me.
He has improved, so to speak. He stopped being the "I want grandchildren, give me grandchildren" guy.
Yep.
Which he really was a lot in like season 3 and season 4. He's kind of contemporized that, mellowed up, because now he has more of a life with Edna.
Mm-hmm.
And they're off doing coupley things. We'll address that one next episode.
Next episode, yes, we will.
Yeah. But they're off doing coupley things more often. And he's concerned about his daughter, and he loves his daughter, but it comes off less as him desperately trying to pressure her into any kind of marriage he can shove her into this season. But he's filled with nice wisdom this time about how he wanted to be in the Dodgers, and he went for a tryout and failed, and he got up, and he dusted himself off and found his calling. It's a really good story. I think so.
I love it. And I like, it's one day you'll find something you like and you'll be good at it. Anything you want to be. And then, of course, the great little smutty cap to that scene. I know what we want to do, but whatever we do, it won't involve us unbuttoning our blouses. Well, there goes my idea. Exhibitionist Laverne. Exhibitionist Laverne.
Like,
I was thinking, because I'm sorry to interrupt, just this thought, because I thought this would make you happy. So at the time we're doing this recording, it's October 1st, 2021, when we're recording this. And, of course, Elvira's a bunch in the news. Her memoir just came out. She came out of the closet. It's been wonderful.
Yes.
We celebrate Cassandra Peterson. She must be protected at all costs. Precious creature.
Yes.
Laverne DeFazio as horror host.
I love this mental image.
Yes.
I love this mental image. The boys would clearly be her stooges in this process. Shirley would be the head writer.
Yeah.
She really would be. Yeah, she'd be in charge. I can actually picture that. Yeah. But Laverne would get to have her cleavage out, and Lenny would explode.
Yeah, but that would be the joke. Like, he would be like the Herman Munster Frankenstein monster kind of guy, and so his head blowing up in a bunch of sparks would be part of the joke.
Yeah. There you go. Oh my god, I can picture that. He's a Frankenstein monster, and Squiggy is a bat creature.
Yes, or like some sort of like goblin sort of thing, like Grendel
or vampire.
Yes, yeah. Or what are we saying? Renfield. I mean, he basically is Renfield.
Yes. Perfect. I love it.
Now I really wish David and Michael had been in a Mel Brooks movie at some point.
Oh gosh, I'm sad that never happened too. They worked with Spielberg. That happened at least.
True, and we're quite funny. I always remembered them, even though I didn't know it was them at the time.
Yes, yeah, they're very good in their little bit in 1941.
So then we have the tag scene. How obvious is that ADR on the exterior establishing shot?
No, I know. That's my note says clear overdub by Lenny. That's what my note says. I don't know. That is a clear syndication edits. They clearly had some kind of scene that happens before that. Then they got chopped out for the DVD, which sucks. Again, I understand when they make music-related edits because of rights issues to a degree, if the music doesn't impinge on the plot. But when you make edits like that just take out scenes that existed, that pisses me off.
Yep.
That does not need to happen. At all.
Like the wheelbarrow full of mud or chocolate pudding or whatever.
Oh god, I want that. Yeah, from One Heck of a Note, I want that scene still.
Shaking my head.
I want to know if that ever made it onto the television, the televised version of the episode.
Yep.
That's what I'm curious about.
Gosh.
So the boys and Edna and Frank are desperately trying to negotiate the sale of Dead Lazlo's place, and the boys are trying to make as much money as possible. Squig is never fully satisfied. And They finally figure it out. And the girl's being really amused by this whole situation. This makes it delightful because everybody's
It's
really
like finally, yeah. It's well, they finally get to the point where they're not the butt of the joke, I guess, in a way.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that the boys want Frank to shave off their mustache so he can shave off his mustache so they can wear it at parties.
Right.
Such a great line. I can picture Squiggy walking around with Frank's walrus mustache at parties.
Oh my
I
god.
can staple it on myself. Frank's rhythm.
I love that. It's like, we're gonna change the name from Dead Lazlo's Place. Good. I need to sign. Lazlo ain't got no tombstone.
Poor Lenny.
God, the thought of going into Pfister Cemetery, Memorial Cemetery, and seeing Dead Lazlo's Place and a little arrow pointing down to the plot.
Yeah, I know. God, that's just one more tragic detail about Lenny's already sad backstory. Gosh, you want to wrap your arms around the boy sometimes. You just really do. Cause, sheesh.
I mean, by all means, good. I mean,
Funny.
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. So yeah.
Sometimes he's naughty and wrong. Yes, it's true. He's not perfect. Nobody is. And even fictional beings are not perfect. That would make them boring. But yes. Yes! And of course, everybody has to shake on it in the end. But the boys get their money. Frank and Edna get to a diner that they probably gussy up and run.
Mm-hmm.
We never ever see this place again in canon, sadly. So we never find out what happened to it. You were going to say that.
Yeah.
No, happened to it, but yeah.
Ah, man. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe they need to change the theme. Make it like, I don't know, a Western joint.
That's ooh, future. The future is coming.
Future. Should I do the Squidward thing now? Future. Yeah.
Season 6 is not as scary as season 8.
Anywho, but yeah, so that kind of wraps up the whole scene in the whole episode in a nice little bow.
Yeah.
So I think, I covered all the behind the scenes notes. I don't really have any much more to go on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is one I'm going to kind of come back to liking more and more. It's just that it's it's just the elements of the hype, because this was even like, I remember even the night we watched it, I was like, I enjoy this, but something's holding it back. We didn't talk about the Carmine scene, which, did, bug me. But, and the thing is, I like the idea of the scene. I think it's hysterical. The idea that, they are so inexperienced, they think it needs to have music. It's, because that's the big ambitious plan, right? It has music and dancing and everything and all this helpful service. And it's like, you're giving a single customer the premium experience when it's just a coffee break. They just want to go get their coffee, get a few minutes away from work, read the paper, and go back to the office or the assembly line or wherever the hell he works. And
I love that scene for a lot of reasons. I love the little musical number. Mm-hmm. I love that they actually thought this was going to be a good idea and successful. And he's in this little tiny diner doing flips in a stinky tuxedo. He looks wonderfully
totally.
Ridiculous. Wonderfully ridiculous.
It is, yeah. I mean, Carmine is great here. Eddie's dancing is fantastic, and I love the kind of this is when I come back to Laverne and Carmine. I don't see them as a couple. This is why One Heck of a Note doesn't work for me. Look at the banter. That is siblings.
Siblings,
it's the let me see here. I have the note. No small rooms, only small singers. What's that supposed to mean? You figure it out. Hey, And then they sorry, and they shake hands. It's like that's the dynamic. And to me that works. That's funny. That's cute. It doesn't need, some weird sexual tension that's not one that in my opinion is not earned even at this point in the show, Yeah. So it works better that way for me. And I really like that they went for that. It made them it made the two of them and their friendship more endearing to me.
Yeah. For me, I like them better as friends. You'll be able probably to understand people's point of view when we get deeper into El Canon. By the time we get to like season 7, season 8, it becomes more of a thing that's understandable.
Yeah.
So.
Well.
Yeah.
It remains to be seen.
Yes, it does.
Anyway, do you have any other notes?
No, I don't really have any other notes. I was going to mention that there's something interesting going on here in that Laverne is trying to kind of please her father by almost doing what he does for a living, by directly doing what he does for a living. And there's, considering how she always thought he wanted a boy, and she's like tried to live up to that kind of an ideal. That's pretty interesting, Freudian wise, so to speak. If you think about it, yeah, yeah. I don't know what's going on under her hood there, but there's some subtle psychological insight for an episode that is very goofy.
Yeah, I felt the same. I noticed that as well. Like it has a I wonder, I guess
Yeah,
if it does have that, is it us reading into it, or is it something that they figured out in the writing process but had to cut, or is it something they figured out in rehearsals? Like, I'm kind of curious about that, because sometimes, with what the stories we've heard about the making of the show, there were times
yeah,
where they were making this so damn fast that
yeah.
these things could happen by accident, unconsciously. So I'm curious about that.
That's actually a good question because we have seen scripts in different levels of progression at this point. We have friends who have shown us scripts in the show. And episodes that start out one way in the scripting process end up in a completely different place by the time they hit the air.
Yep.
It's really interesting. It really is. But I don't know if this was kind of like a deeper, more emotional episode in its first dregs, and they said, "Nope, physical comedy. Laverne's beating a chicken on the oven." That's a great scene. That's a great visual, by the way. Laverne just desperately covered in soot, beating a chicken on the oven by its neck. That is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
I also was very impressed they had an actual working griddle on the set, which I'm willing to bet the fire marshal was probably not aware of some of that, because that feels like a fire hazard. Because you often, for those types of things, you need certain permits when to do that in an enclosed space, because I mean it's a soundstage.
Yeah. Really, honestly. Well, we know from anecdotes from David and Michael that they would literally rewrite the show during lunch breaks. Literally, like, the girls would be rehearsing a scene on the set, and they would be sitting there rewriting the next scene that they would be doing.
Wow.
So, the process of making Laverne Shirley was very dramatic and very complicated, but you got everybody together, and they went out on that stage, and it turned to pure gold in the end.
Yep.
For a while.
I mean, if I recall correctly, Gary Marshall even said in kind of around the late 80s, early 90s, after the show ended, he said he was aware that they didn't realize what they had until it was gone, and he knew they were all going to miss it, and they were kind of too lost in their ego to appreciate what was around them.
Yeah. He said several actors didn't know at the time they were having the best time of their lives on that show, and they know now.
Yeah, there you go.
So sharp. And I'm like, Jesus, Gary. That was for a foundation interview.
That's right. That was
what that's from. But Gary always maintained that people were not appreciating what they had at the time. Then, oops. In the retrospect, it was very good. And a lot of ways, dramatic crap happened behind the scenes. We had scripts being burned and drop kicked in the rafters, and all kinds of stuff happened. But in the end, yeah, go ahead.
Still very impressive to drop kick a script into the rafters.
David was a tough guy. He was a tough guy. I was gonna add that, and David literally busting down the door of Eddie Mecca's dressing room and claiming, because Eddie would only be there rarely, especially during the early seasons for Blancy's Beauties, and Dean and Michael would be there all the time, and they stuck Michael and David in the same dressing room, and they didn't want to be in the same dressing room, or David wanted his own dressing room, apparently, from the anecdote that he told. So he just busted it down and took it.
Wow.
Which is a great story. I love that story. I love that story so much. Wow. But yes, okay. I believe we are heading to the ranking period.
Yeah. I think, I'll still go higher than like what my instinct is telling me, because I have a feeling when I do the top 5 or when I edit this episode the following year, future me is going to be like, the hell were you thinking? I've already had that case recently on some of the season 4 ones I've been doing lately. So I'm going to go for an 8.5.
This is a solid 9, 9.5 to me. This is a damn good episode. This is a classic. This is a classic of sitcoms. The physical comedy alone, as the girls slowly break down that diner, and Shirley sneezes a bunch of plates on the floor, and Laverne uses that dustpan. You feel like you're in a room filled with comedic genius. It is so good. It's so important. And it's so vital to sitcoms as a developing art to me. So I'm going high 9. It's almost a 10, but not quite. I feel like there did really need to be more of the boys in it. I wanted to see more of the boys actually trying to run that diner and run to the ground, physically see them do that. But it probably just distracts too much from the girls' part of the plot. But yeah.
Yep.
That's my rationale.
Yeah. I get it. And it's a case of, I mean, again, by the time everything comes around, I mean, and this also is a case of season 5 was really good. It is almost exhaustingly good, to the point where I wonder if what's going to happen is that when I see what comes after and start to see, kind of look at these episodes more in disparate chunks, like, oh, take an episode from this season, the episode from that season, etc., for comparison, it may end up being that in time this reaches that 9.5 ranking for myself as well. But it's a ton of fun. It's another one of the just kick-ass highlights from a really outstanding year.
Yeah.
And it's a good job. It's a good time. Yeah.
Yeah. Your weekly reminder that no one was watching the show this season. No one was watching the show this season, and it is so good. It's in a lot of ways better and more consistent than season 4, which everybody watched.
Do I even want to know what was the big winner this week in the ratings?
Oh, God, I am actually incredibly curious. I don't even know what people tune to on Tuesdays when they decide to shuck their loyalty towards the girls and towards the fawns there and start watching other shows. I'm pretty sure that it didn't result in more people watching. I think they were up against Little House on the Prairie or something. I can't remember. But I'd have to look that one up. I will look that one up, as a matter of fact. Okay, so at this point, they were up against The White Shadow, The Misadventures of Sheriff Lobo, and California Fever. So America just turned the TVs off. America just turned their TVs off.
I mean, to be fair, 1980, there was a lot of good movies out at that time.
Yeah. True. I think people just started to leave the house because, holy crap, none of those series survived. Mm-hmm. And then that was when they were on Tuesdays. When the girls were on Mondays, which was late in the season, they were up against The White Shadow and WKRP in Cincinnati and Little House on the Prairie.
Good grief.
What probably happened on Mondays is that they got killed by Little House on the Prairie. Yeah, Little House on the Prairie was 16th in the ratings.
Wow.
That year.
Okay, so in 1980, they from other entertainment outlets, they were up against films such as Kramer versus Kramer, Jaws 2, Foxes, Coal Miner's Daughter, When Time Ran Out, Where the Buffalo Roam, which admittedly didn't do great.
Yeah.
And around this time in May, Friday the 13th, The Shining, and Empire Strikes Back was coming up. So, in a couple of weeks from this episode airing. So, my point being is there was a lot more to do. And if you wanted good entertainment, there were more outlets, which is kind of the thing we noticed today is kind of the issue with some of these shows. Great shows can fall into obscurity today just simply because there's so many options that something good can just slip out of people's eyesight.
And when they were in that Thursday nighttime slot, which they got moved to, which killed the show off, they were up against the Waltons and Buck Rogers in the 25th Century.
Oh, wow. That's, depending on the
Waltons
audience.
Probably.
Yeah, I'm assuming the Waltons
just steamrolled them.
Absolutely.
The Waltons just steamrolled them, is my guess.
Thanks to the nice guys, I can't think of the Waltons without thinking of that Hitman.
Yeah. Good night, John Boy. Forever.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, okay, so we've tangented a bit here at the tail end, but this was good that we figured out a thing about what was going on ratings wise, because we're getting towards the end of season 5, and it's just like, how did this being so good? And it was already in syndication by this point, right? They were still playing it.
Yeah, definitely. They were playing Happy Days and Laverne Shirley as Laverne Shirley and Company, and I think Happy Days again. Yeah, Happy Days again. They were playing them on ABC in the mornings and in the afternoon. And it was apparently did pretty well. It did okay in first run syndication. What happened was that along the line, season 8 happened. So the shows had subsequently become less and less successful in syndication. Because, well, the Laverne Shirley lasted a long time and Nick at Night in TV land. But ever since then, it's kind of bumped around between homes, and that's like in the 90s and the zeros.
Mm-hmm. And even today, since we started, it's played on Logo, MeTV, and now on Pluto.
Yeah. Pluto is pretty much the only place you can watch the show now.
Right.
The only over-the-air place you can watch the show right now. It was supposed to be on that new MeTV spin-off network, but that never happened or hasn't happened on a widespread. Actually, no, it was on Hulu it was on Hulu, and then it stopped being on Hulu. So they pulled it from Hulu. So that's that. Yeah, that shows you how loaded things were, and how much they had to battle against to even get some kind of attention on the show. And it was doing fabulous. It was doing aces in the writing department, in the direction department. This season levels up in a lot of ways. And when you think about the fact that they basically did this out of desperation to kind of get eyeballs on the show, it's just fascinating.
It is. It also definitely shows, this is my issue with sitcoms. It's the reminder that you can do great TV in that format. And a lot of why it doesn't is because it's cheaper, it's easier, or it sells, who cares, is often why a lot of sitcoms suck. And it's why a lot of media sucks in general.
Yeah. No, like, it's not even that the medium itself sucking. What happens is that people just get overwhelmed with the amount of stuff that they're presented with, and sometimes it just doesn't track to them, or it's not high value to them.
Yeah, because I mean, as much as I get all grumpy at sitcoms, I have loved a considerable amount of them.
Yeah. Well, I'm a sitcom person. I was raised on them.
Yeah.
I was just raised on them. So I watch modern sitcoms. I watch throwback sitcoms. I'm very much a TV person for some reason. Why, I don't know.
Yeah, that's
But
TV. Yeah. Anyway, we'll get to all those discussion points another time. We should probably wrap this up. But yeah, we got to rank it down.
Torturing our listeners now.
Yes. Join us again for the Chris and Lisa hour. Okay. So anyway, with that all done, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us for Night After Night. And if you would like to know more, please join us at Night After Night Pod on Facebook, Tumblr, WordPress, Patreon, or YouTube, or Night After Night PC on Twitter. You will be able to find us on those different places on social medias. And if you would like to throw some shekels over at the Patreon, we would really certainly appreciate that there. And, definitely get in touch with us on the Twitter. We got this cool stuff there. We got the watch-alongs. We got the videos. We got the polls. We got all this great community stuff. We got friends that do the great stuff for the Laverne Shirley. It's really good. It's really good. It's so good. It's so good. It doesn't even need dog races to be interesting. You don't even got to cook your own food. We cook it for you. You sit down. We get you a cup of coffee. It's all good. It's a good time. Anyway, it's even so good that Lisa, I told you, we finally got it in. I think we're gonna have separate tables next week.
Yes, we are. Laverne all of a sudden suffers a fear of being alone and eating alone and going places alone, so Shirley decides to break her of her phobia. That's called Separate Tables, and it's coming up next week.
Yes, next week. We shall see you there. And you might want to be prepared for some racism.
Yeah, unfortunate stereotyping. Unfortunate stereotyping and abrupt characterization choices.
Yeah.
Head your way next week.
Well, join us again next week and we'll just fool around a bit.
Remember, kids, don't choke a chicken, beat it. Bye.
Me and you